Welcome to the Hundredfold Journey. We help people step out of religious bondage and into true abundance. We invite you to embark on a journey, a spiritual journey called the Hundredfold. At a Hundredfold, we are a group of people developing new thoughts, habits, and beliefs to understand our true identity, to live our life purpose and experience the abundant life just the way Jesus did. Our mission is to provide support, encouragement, and resources to help you on your journey. The life you are meant to live is closer than you think. The journey is the destination, and your journey starts now. Good morning, Doug here from the Hundredfold Journey. Thanks again for joining us on this Grace Awakening Network program. We're on a journey with you together so that you can know your true identity, live your life purpose, and experience true abundance. Because a Hundredfold is about a group of people who are looking to find their true identity, and by doing so, finding God's true identity. So thanks for joining us this morning. We are in a series called the 7 statements, the 7 I am statements of Jesus, as we go through the book of John. And our memory verse for this series is John 14:20, where it says, "In that day you will know that I am in my Father, you are in me, and I am in you," which is God is in me. The I am, the name of God is I am, and it is in us. It is in you. So this is our memory verse. So all of these I am statements were true for Jesus. Therefore, they're true for you because I am is in you. Pretty amazing. So today we're going to be talking about the I am the Good Shepherd. And this again is a statement that Jesus said, 7 of them, where he said, I am the Good Shepherd. And I think it's important that we go back and just do a quick refresh on where the I am began, where it all began. And it began in Exodus, where Moses meets a burning bush that is on fire, but it's not consumed. And when Moses goes, checks it out, it is God speaking to Moses. And when Moses and God is asking Moses to go free the Israelites, and when Moses asked God what his name was, who should I tell him has sent me? God says, I am that I am. So that is the name that God has given for himself. Now, last week, we also talked about you are the door of the sheep. And when my upbringing in the door is like, okay, there's a gate and Jesus manages the door. But in reality, this is coming from the temple, the tabernacle of God, and the door represents the entryway into the holy place. And if we look at this as our body, the consciousness, the door, allows the sheep to come in. And what we're going to discover, and what we discovered last week, is that's our entry into our consciousness with our thoughts and our beliefs. And as it comes in, you can see then it goes into the veil, into the Ark of the Covenant, which is up here, which is our mind, which is our thought, which is the most holy place. And this is the dwelling place of God. That's where God resides. Let's take a look at the Good Shepherd and how this correlates, because this is actually in the same chapter, John chapter 10. The earlier verses are talking about the door. I am the door of the sheep. And now he talks about I am the Good Shepherd. So how does the Good Shepherd manage the door that allows the sheep to come and go? So what Jesus says is, I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd gives his life for the sheep, but a hireling who is not the shepherd, one who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees. And the wolf catches the sheep and scatters them. The hireling flees because he is a hireling and does not care about the sheep. I am the Good Shepherd. I know my sheep, and I am known by my own. As the Father knows me, even so I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they will hear my voice, and they will be one flock and one shepherd. Therefore, my Father loves me because I lay my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. This command I have received from my Father. All right, so here he's describing a bunch of things about hirelings and wolves and sheep and all of this. So let's dig into that. But before we do that, as I've been doing each week, I really like the fact that we can go into the Hebrew language and understand the pictures of what these words mean. So, for example, in Greek, the word sheep is probaton. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that, which is sheep, four-legged animal. And I thought this was interesting, easily led, right? Easily led. And the Hebrew is shan, which is a small cattle, sheep, and goats flock. Now, the Hebrew word, the Hebrew letters for sheep or shan are these four letters. And if we pull out the meaning, because each letter in the Hebrew alphabet has a specific meaning, it has a picture, and it has a specific definitions for each letter. So if we look at the four letters that make up this word, pull toward the leader, join together, offspring. All right. So the leader, who is the good shepherd, right? That's what shepherds do, is they lead the flock, right? And we're pulling them pull toward the leader, the shepherd, and they join together, and then they reproduce, which is exactly what sheep do. So if you think literally, all right, so sheep are being led and joined together by a shepherd, and then they reproduce. So if we think about these as our thoughts and our beliefs, we are being pulled, we're pulling these thoughts to us, and they join together, and more thoughts, more beliefs, conviction, you could even say, come from joining them together. All right. So that's that's the definition of sheep. Now, the good shepherd is the head, right? We talked about the head, and that person is the one that joins together and then to see and reveal. So the shepherd is one that looks out and sees all the different potentials, all the different beliefs, you could say, what God is saying about me, what others are saying about me. And then the shepherd then reveals to the sheep what the truth is. So it's the head, and the responsibility to take care of those the sheep and those beliefs. I hope that makes sense. So, Linda, I know you're on. Is this making sense? Are you tracking this? Any
Yes.
comments so far?
Well, I'm getting that if we're aligning our thoughts with the shepherd, it's like he aligns with us. Yeah. Is that?
Yeah. So if our thoughts align with the shepherd, so we are the shepherd, though.
Mhm.
So we get to see and reveal the truths that are out there, and then we join them together. So we are in agreement. So we're shepherding those thoughts and those beliefs. And yes, you're right. There is the good shepherd, which is Christ, right? And we're aligning with his thoughts about
Mhm.
who we are. So yes, there is a joining together of our mind with Christ, because we have the mind of Christ.
Yeah. And Jesus said that I only do what my Father tells me to do.
There you go.
So I believe that he is aligning with us and
Yes.
in leading.
Yes. Beautiful. All right. So now if we just combine those two, the good shepherd and the sheep, we see that the good shepherd is the head, joins together to see and reveal, and the sheep are being pulled toward the leader, which is the shepherd, to join together and to multiply.
Mhm.
All right. So that's what the good shepherd does, is he manages the flock, and he's the leader, and he joins them all together and they reproduce, similar to what our thoughts and our beliefs are. The more we learn about these truths about who I am gathering my sheep, if you will, and taking care of them and joining them together, and then they become stronger. Those beliefs become stronger. All right. So as we dig into a little bit more about the this parable of the good shepherd, and it is a parable, by the way. So we're not talking about literal sheep and literal shepherds. It's a parable because Jesus only spoke in parables. So let's dig into this. So the good shepherd is Christ, but it's also me, the I am. And I manage all my thoughts and beliefs, and it's my higher consciousness. The sheep are the thoughts and beliefs. The hireling is not the good shepherd of thoughts and beliefs. It's more work oriented, right? It's a hireling. It means it's getting paid to do things. You do this, and I'll do that. It's work based, and that's what our ego likes to see, is we want to get rewarded for doing something. And it's our false self. It's who we think we are, but it's not really who we are. And then the wolf is religion. It's false beliefs. It's the world. It's the one that is pressing outside on us, that's wanting to press their thoughts upon us. All right, so kind of keep that in mind as we're going, doing a deep dive into each of these verses. So John 10:11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. So let's translate that. The sheep are the thoughts and beliefs. If your beliefs are contrary to God's beliefs about who you are you willing to give your life to God's beliefs about you? Doesn't matter what others believe about you, it's what God says about you, right? So this is what the good shepherd is willing to do. He gives his life for those beliefs and those thoughts, that I am a child of God, that I am the dwelling place of God, that I am loved by God. All of those beliefs. Am I willing to lay my life down for those beliefs? And as we've seen, Jesus was willing to do that, right? He even went to the cross. And then the next verse, but a hireling who is not the shepherd, one who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf catches the sheep and scatters them. So if you're not a good shepherd, and if you choose to live from your own strength and beliefs, strengths and beliefs, you will see the hardships of life, like the wolf, and the thoughts of God and the beliefs from higher consciousness will flee. The wolf catches the God's thoughts and scatters them. And then the verse that I was thinking about was in Matthew 5, the good soil, right? Where we have a solid foundation. When the winds blow, when the wolves come, because our foundation is on a rock, it won't sink. But if we have it on sand, it will. So the sand would be a representation of the hireling, and the winds that blow would be the wolves that would come trying to stand against those beliefs about who we are. Okay. And then they get scattered, right? The house tumbles down because we were building it out of our own strength. Mm. And then Matthew 7:15, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. Right. So that's Matthew 7. And it points out right here that there are wolves that have false beliefs about who we are. And we have to be careful because they're false prophets. And they're telling us contrary to what God is telling us. You're a dirty, rotten sinner. You need to repent. You need to be baptized to be saved. And if you don't, you'll go into hell. And all of those are contrary to what God is telling us inwardly from our spirit, that we are a child of God, that we are the sheep of his flock. We belong to him, right? There is no separation. It's all good news. The hireling flees because he is a hireling and does not care about the sheep. So if you think and believe you have to work for your identity, right? All of those things that I just talked about, right? I have to be baptized. I have to confess. I have to repent. I have to go to church. I have to read my Bible. I have to tithe. All those things that I used to do because I thought I needed to do those in order for God to be pleasing to me so that I could be a good sheep, right? Not knowing that I was already a good sheep. I already knew, I already had the identity of who I was on the inside. I was just pushing it down. Then God's good intention for you will flee because you don't care about the things of God, nor believe that you are the good shepherd and you can control your thoughts, right? So the hireling, your ego, as soon as those wolves come, doesn't care about your thoughts, right? And they get scattered. But Jesus says, I am, and he's talking about you. I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep and am known by my own. Now that language is a little weird there. Here is your foundational truth, right? So this is the truth. This is the rock that Jesus stood upon. And what he's declaring is that you're not a hireling. And yes, the wolves are going to come. But when you stand on the solid foundation, which is the rock, and you know who you are and your true identity, and I know my thoughts, and my thoughts agree with me that I am the good shepherd, I manage my thoughts and don't allow them to be scattered or to flee. So, what elsewhere it says, his spirit confirms with my spirit that I am the child of God, right? So, when it says here, I know my sheep and am known by my own, is the sheep is confirmed, those thoughts, those beliefs are confirming who I am. And anytime that I hear a truth, I just know it within my bones that this is the truth of my true identity. And I'm the good shepherd, so I'm going to manage those beliefs and those thoughts. As the Father knows me, even so I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. So here's another foundational truth. The Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I'm willing to die to my ego, to my hireling, to the wolves for that belief. And the foundation is the Father knows me, and I know the Father. That's a foundational truth. That's something we can stand on. You mean the God who created all of this amazing world and everything about it, he knows me. And yes, we are intimate. He is within me. I am his dwelling place. And we're living this life together as me, with me. And then the last few verses. And the other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they will hear my voice, and they will be one flock and one shepherd. So I'm going to pause there for just a second. So being raised in the Christian life, I always felt this was a verse about separation, right? There was the Jews, right, that were a flock, and then the Gentiles that he then had to bring in, right, to woo and bring them into this fold. That's the belief that I had, that there was separation somehow, and that Jesus had to go track them down and do all of that. So, but that's not what he's saying here. What he's saying is, I have other negative beliefs which are not thoughts of God. I must bring them under subjection to the truth. they will hear the truth, and I will no longer have duality, me and God, but we will be one, as it says, but we will be one flock and one shepherd, right? So there's no duality. There's not my ego and Christ. We will be one, and those beliefs will be one. But there's truths out there, like the truth that I'm sharing with you now, is we need to bring these truths into our fold. We need to get rid of those old beliefs, the negative beliefs, and bring into the fold the beliefs, the true beliefs of who I am. And those are being constantly revealed to me by Spirit, because the Spirit of truth is within me, and He is guiding me and directing me into all truth. Right? So as those truths come in, I need to bring them into my fold, into my thoughts, into my beliefs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Therefore, my Father loves me because I lay down my life that I may take it up again. So again, back to another foundational truth, right? He's talking about about these thoughts and these beliefs and bringing them under a full under a into my belief, into my consciousness. And the foundational truth is, I know my Father loves me, right? Do we really know that our Father loves us? And because I lay my loves me because I lay down the beliefs of the world so that I can find my true identity, which is I am. So my Father loves me because I lay my life down that I may take it up again. So He's giving us, God is giving us His love for us to the point where we're willing to lay our life down and then bring it up again, which is my true identity. And we'll talk about bringing it up again. Next week, we're going to be talking about I am the resurrection and the life. So that has relation to this, but we'll talk about that next week. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down for myself. I have the power to lay it down, and I have the power to take it up again. This command I receive from my Father. And here's another foundational truth: God has given me complete control. I choose to lay down the beliefs about myself that I was taught or conditioned to believe. I also have the power to raise them up. Okay, so this is what God has done. Is He's saying, I've given you everything you need for life and godliness. You're to rule, you're to reign, you're a king, you're a priest, and I've given it to you to manage. You're the good shepherd. Now manage your beliefs, manage your thoughts. You're the one that's in control. All right. I know I went through that rather quickly, but I have a visual of what that might look like. So, can you share with me what you see in this picture? What do you see being the good shepherd?
I'm staying in the flock, I guess.
Yeah, managing the flock. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the position of Jesus? What is He doing?
Um, he's there to guiding,
Yeah.
sitting, shepherding.
Yeah, and he's in a position of rest because he's
Yeah.
sitting, right?
Hmm.
And but he's managing his flock.
Hmm.
And what are the sheep doing?
They're all, they all are in alignment. It's like they're all around him. It's like
Right.
they're staying and not wandering off.
Exactly. And they're being managed, they're being fed, they're being watered, they're being cared for, they're being paid attention to,
Hmm.
right? Because Jesus is looking at this sheep, and if we look at it as a belief or a truth, is we are focusing on that, and we're managing our thoughts. This is what the good shepherd does. So you are the good shepherd. So Jesus in this picture is me, and we could think of these as these different thoughts of joy and rest and love and being kind and abundance. So we're managing all of this because I'm the good shepherd, right? And then when the outside comes, tell me what you see in this picture. What do those wolves represent?
Religion,
Yeah,
fear, doubt,
exactly.
anything that's not of love or peace or joy.
Yes,
And he's still protecting. He's still present. He's still there protecting those thoughts. And
exactly. So we could even look at it this way, right? The wolves are you're separated from God, right? The
yeah,
world says you're not good enough. You're never going to be good enough. Fear says, oh, what am I going to do now? You're thinking about the past or you're thinking about the future. But you are coming in between being the good shepherd and managing your thoughts, which are the peace, the joy, the love. But I just chose peace in this case. You're not allowing anything to attack your peace, and you're willing to lay your life down because of the belief that you have in who you are and your true identity.
yeah.
So you have come between, you're the good shepherd. You don't allow anything to impact your your beliefs and your peace and your love and your joy. So there's two representations here, right? You've got the good shepherd, who's managing the flock and taking good care of them. But then you also have the good shepherd that's not like the hireling, right? The hireling would run away. He wouldn't be this guy. He would be that, okay, you got it. Take away my peace. I don't care, right? And then all of a sudden you're anxious, you're worried, there's separation, right? The hireling would flee, and then the wolves would come and they would tear that sheep apart. You can't have peace. Look at what the doctors say about you. You can't have peace. Look at, you just lost your job or whatever. But the good shepherd comes in between and does whatever it takes, even to the point of laying his life down for his sheep.
And that's a lot like what Neville Goddard was talking about, faith. You have to trust that.
Yes. Yes, exactly. All right. So we're right at time. Next week, again, we're going to be talking about I am the resurrection and the life. And then our QR code for our website where you can get more information and other material. All right. That's it for this morning. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.